Thanks. Thanks Datadog for inviting us here. It's a great opportunity to share a little bit of our experience, how we use it with the serverless, and how we manage to bring observability and compliance and security together. And we very also looking forward to learn from you guys how you use Datadog or other tools in your pipeline. But let's start and introduce ourselves quickly. So hi, I'm Pavel. I'm a lead of quality engineer in U10, working there for 2 years. I was working in all sorts of companies, from small startups to huge enterprises. I'm the major silos breaker. I believe that if you're responsible and having ownership for something, you're owning it from A to B. So I'm a developer, tester, operation guy, and whatever comes next, I think security. Outside of the working hours, I climb in walls and jumping out of planes.
Well, my name is Kirill. I'm working together with Pavel as a lead engineer in U10. And if Pavel will move a bit here, people will see my ugly face there. At my free time, while I'm mostly drinking cocktails Pavel is making and push him in a wheelchair in a conference because he has a tendency to break his leg every second year because he's quite a bad... Still limping a bit. Let me very briefly come through the fact what U10 is. U10 is essentially, first of all, it's part of the ABN AMRO, so we 100% belongs to ABN AMRO. It's a Dutch bank. And we're doing SME lending. So we're giving money to entrepreneurs for small and medium business. And what's the difference between U10 and the regular big fat bank is that U10 have a fully digital, including signers, flow. So you don't need to go to the bank, you just open U10 website, you fill some documents, you put some signature, and the money hits your account if you decided that you are legit, hopefully. Usually if people asking me, what the hell are you doing? But why U10 is existing? I have this awesome buzzword that we're trying to bring cutting-edge technology to a highly regulated bank environment. But how many of you are actually working like in fintech or in banks? Well, I see not everyone, so I'm going to cut a bullshit, and I will try really technical explain what we're doing and why. So what we're doing, we're trying to merge that one with that one. And what it means for technical people, it means that highly regulated environment and extremely, very expensive mistakes should be merged with a true DevOps culture, very small team, because we have about 80 people nowadays, and we really, really want to bring value to our customers. So keeping it in mind, we will explain you what choices were made and why.
Yeah, one of the first choices that we made was, okay, how are we going to run our production? What we're going to do? Are we want to be nerds from the basement, which we are anyway, or we want to build software and build something for the customer, so focus on the customer value. Of course, we all like to manage our Mesos clusters or manage our Kubernetes clusters, and we all like this cold smell of airco in the server rooms, right? But in the end, customers are not paying for that, and we need to focus on bringing values to them, bringing business value. So that's why we decided, okay, let's cut off all of the run costs as much as we can, and let's go serverless. And we 80% serverless right now, so 20% containers. So why? Well, what are the reasons? For us, it's 5 reasons. Yeah, first, as I said, concentrate on business values. Second, serverless technologies gives you a really fast feedback cycle, really fast deployments. It helps with DevOps culture. It really helps to bring software engineers closer to the operations. It helps to really enforce this ownership in developers. For monitoring, it's also kind of reduce the amount of things you need to look and care. You only monitor telemetry of your business application. You don't monitor how it runs. You don't monitor really all of the CPUs and networks, because you believe that you leverage the cloud provider, in our case is AWS, with that they're doing the best job. So they are providing you stable solution, lambdas in our case. So that's why, and a little bit of how Kirill will tell.
A bit about how. So we're 100% cloud native, so everything that we're doing in AWS, and we're using GitLab, gitlab.com, hosted version, as our Git repository, and mostly important, as our delivery pipeline. And due to the fact that we're doing Lambdas, obviously we have to make a choice what kind of framework for Lambdas are we going to use. Back then, Serverless.com was the most developed. We still believe it's the most developed through the fact we really like AWS and there's some. We still stick with the Serverless.com. And we're using Terraform to deploy more persistent infrastructure because, well, obviously you couldn't deploy almost everything with Serverless.com, but it's difficult, let's put it this way. And we have a trio of services, like PagerDuty, Datadog, Essentially, to monitor what we're doing there. And if we deep dive a bit further into Serverless, this is how we do Lambda deployments. So Serverless.com framework is used to deploy Lambda itself, step functions, and API gateway as essential part of triggering Lambdas. So there are many ways of triggering Lambdas, but of course, API is most common because we publicly face the customers. And all roles deploying together with Lambdas through the Serverless framework. More persistent infrastructures, the dynamic DB tables, RDS, are deployed through Terraform. And because we really want to empower ownership, we came with the conception of models. So cloud engineers actually have written models, and then developers can just call these models to ensure that they're using what we built for them to deliver value very fast. And to wrap it all, we wrote our own toolbox. We call it Newton Toolbox. We tried to open source it one day. It's a Go-written application that allows service owner in a very simple way to wrap everything around his service and just deploy it locally or through CI/CD in a couple clicks. And we allow developers to deploy all the way to production. We have a very flat structure. So myself as a lead engineer, I have the same permission as Pavel or front-end person. So a bit about observability.
Yeah, so the deployments is only part of things. Next is how you can monitoring, how you can see that your production works fine. There are 3 pillars of observability. We added 2 that I think was missing. So of course it's logging and monitoring. All of our logs are streamed to the Amazon CloudWatch, and CloudWatch delivers to Datadog. Because I still think that Datadog is one of the best log representation and log UI tool. After that, there is tracing, error tracing. I think this is a missing pillar of observability. And yeah, we use Sentry for that. So why I think it's important, because you need to know not only logs of your application, but also you have to collect all of the errors and aggregate them and be able to see the user impact. And I think that maybe Datadog guys one day needs to buy Sentry, but yeah, that's my opinion.
Take it as a business tip, buy Sentry.
Yes. And then, of course, distributed traces. So everything that is traced in Amazon X-Ray, also available for us in Datadog. For now, it's only for cloud functions, and we're looking forward to see how we can add it for our container workloads. And of course, when something goes wrong, we need to know about that. So Datadog and Sentry both beeps us on PagerDuty. And by the way, me and Kirill both on call all the time. We are on the second level of escalations. So yeah.
He really create a group call, no sex, no life, only PagerDuty, put myself and him in this group and assign it to every escalation policy.
Yes, because of ownership, yes. So to summarize, of the lessons learned from us when we were introducing the Lambdas in our production environments, it's quite hard to make good deployments. So it's required some tooling that is not present on the market right now. So it's okay to build your own kind of bicycles in a way that we did with the Newton Toolbox. It's tricky to ensure compliance, especially with serverless, and I think Kirill will talk about that later. And it's quite difficult to trace right now, and Datadog helping us with Lambdas, and we're looking forward how Datadog can help us with runtime independence, so Lambdas and containers stitching together. So let's move to the DevSecOps portion.
So if you recall the first picture was the cool guys in the skateboards, that was about the left side, but the guys from a bank is actually ladies and gentlemen who are paying our salaries. So it's cool to be agile, deliver fast, build Lambdas, but how we can actually make it compliance. And we're doing DevSecOps. It's a cool buzzword, very popular nowadays. Very different people mean very different stuff about it, but if you're speaking about why we came to this controversial conception, I would say, first, because it's DevOps model is encouraging you to take ownership. It tells you, okay, this is your code in production, fit it there, but it doesn't say anything about how you're going to do it in a secure way, how you make sure that people who are helping customer and fixing production are not going to make a mistake and break this production. Secondary, the nature itself of cloud native architecture kind of increasing your exposure. So if you don't have any firewall anymore, you don't have like basement and can lock yourself behind VPN, you have a bunch of public APIs and people are going to try to hack it around. And at the end of the day, still where banks are operating under the ABN AMRO bank license, it means that all regulatory from Brussels and all requirements are applicable to us. So GitLab.com is a central part of our CI/CD delivery ecosystem. And GitLab.com by itself has a lot of tools inside it to ensure the security of your code. Pavel will cover later. So we have, besides GitLab.com, we have a set of tools that we're using for preventing us making a mistake, like, preactive. It's a Sonar Cloud, with essentially a cloud version of the Sonar Cube. We have a Sneak, it's our partners who are doing our...
Continue.
Right. Well, it's a bit uncomfortable.
No, I need to make a photo.
Doing exactly the same. So you're trying to deploy code and they're checking vulnerabilities in your code and helping you to fix it. And we're using OWASP as a well-known source of truth when you're speaking about vulnerabilities and some kind of weak links in your code. And we're using Trio from Sentry, Datadog, and PagerDuty to ensure reactive. So if something already came south and went south, we know because we're using PagerDuty and Sentry to notify us. And of course, we're using source from AWS and my awesome Bash script that I'm still very proud of, and I'm not going to deprecate it, to ensure some, stitching together a small piece of our ecosystem. So maybe you can tell a bit more about how we're doing proactive.
Yeah, so for the proactive checks that we run on the pipeline, preventing deployment of unsecure software, we use a lot of tools from the GitLab. One of them is GitLab static and dynamic code analysis that just go scan your applications and detect all sorts of possible leaks or vulnerable dependencies. Then we are using the Sneak, which is kind of version of GitLab but on steroids that contains way more coverage, way more languages that support, and in the end, we also wanted to give our developers all of the rights and give to the systems all of the rights that are necessary for their execution, but not over the rules limit. So we use the permission boundaries on NVS and service control policies that minimize the blast radius in case you did something wrong unintentionally. And of course, how we want to see this is how we want to envision that all of these tools, everything just goes to one platform, one dashboard that we can observe and see how's going on with the security in practice. So everything from Lambda, AVS config, web application, firewalls, and just go to one dashboard. And then, of course, when something goes wrong, it goes to PagerDuty. But there is nothing like that on the market. So the same story goes as we spoke about deployment. You have to build tooling around it. So we built tooling that simulates this kind of one service to see them all, let's say. And that's how we build it.
Well, it's actually a whole story. So I was patiently waiting for AWS to come with some cool aggregator. And then we came, I believe, on one of the events. And Mr. Fockels came on a stage what we truly believe is providing building blocks, and you can combine these building blocks, and this is the ideology of AWS. I'm okay, clear, they're not going to build it for us, so we have to build it by ourselves. And we build it, we call it security dashboard because it's cool naming. Essentially, it's a huge set of lambdas that aggregating all information that we want from CloudTrail, do some custom checks on Kinesis Stream, parsing trusted advisor output to see what's there and ignore something of that, of course. We parsing enormous output of GuardDuty because how many of you guys are trying to use AWS GuardDuty? Well, what's your experience? Because for me, it's spamming a lot. And it's you cannot just read it, so you have to do your tooling on top of it to parse that stuff. And It's just part of the job. You have all information and you need to escalate, you need to present it somehow. So if you're going to have a very deep look how it looks like, security dashboard itself is spread it between two parts of the world, let's put it this way. So part of the security dashboard is running in AWS in every account we owned. It's generating a lot of logs and metrics, and these logs and metrics are fed to the second part of the security dashboard that essentially living in Datadog, because Datadog is our place where we have a holistic security view over all our environment. So we use metrics to generate security warning per service, and then we use monitors to do two things. First of all, on a low-level environment, somebody playing on dev and deploy, I don't know, RDS without encryption. The service owner will receive a notification through Datadog, hey man, thank you, look, you girl, you probably create this RDS and you forgot about encryption, fix it. But then if person is deliberately ignoring this notification and deploying it further on test environment, notification will go not only to service owner, to our CISO escalation policy, which we don't have as security guys, just a couple of very angry Russian guys who are sitting there on call, and then if something goes south, they, well, I can make a Russian joke because I'm from Russia. Basically, it's just board of cloud engineers who will sit and explain to person like main, or like girl, that we're giving you trust, so you shouldn't betray this trust. Security is something important. Please never do it again. And we truly believe in two things. First of all, we should learn from it, because people are not only making security mistake because they're ignorant, right? It's just because they really want to deliver value to customer first, because they try to do something better. So if people make a mistake, it's all right. We just will sit next day, we'll think about it and say, well, what should we do next time to prevent this mistake? And we truly believe that security is it's for everyone. Just like, writing code is for everyone, security is for everyone as well. So we have a huge display, so monitors standing around the office, and we throw the metrics of Datadog. Then we have a dashboard, build it everywhere, just to show, oh my God, there is 2 unencrypted buckets and test. Well, somebody has to take a look just to give people this feeling of being responsible for the safety and security.
Yeah, one day we wish this will be completely green page, but never the case, which is fine also. Yeah. So to sum up, there is no really out-of-the-box solutions. Werner will not provide you something that will aggregate everything, so you have to build something ourselves. And we build it and we loop everything in Datadog and use the metrics to monitor it. And so far, we're quite happy with that. And to quickly recap our speech, so serverless is great if you're willing to contribute your effort to build the tooling for it. It's really helped us to go to the market really fast. We were able to release in half a year, when normally it takes 2 years at least. And yeah, for serverless, the security and compliance, challenging topics. And yeah, for whom is not challenging? Everything is challenging in security and compliance if you have bank behind you. And sometimes it's hard to observe things, and Datadog support us a lot with that, and I think that there is some kind of announcement that Datadog would like to introduce now, so I'm really looking forward to hear about serverless and tracing.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate your coming and sharing your story.
Thank you for having us here.
Thanks. Seems like everybody agrees there's quite a few lessons here for us in the world of serverless.